One other good reason not to soak your beans, if you soak your beans, you're getting plain ass water in there, but if you make a flavorful broth first, then put the beans in, they're soaking up all that flavor all the way through. Today on Don't Panic Pantry, we are making smoked ham hock pasta fagioli. I have learned some things from various people in my life. One of them is Kevin Bledsoe, who taught me the immense value of making a ham hock broth to cook beans out of. But then I was at St. John in London and I had a dish there that was a lamb consomme, which was basically just a really fatty lamb broth with like a ton of celery in it and then a bunch of fresh chervil at the very end. And it was one of the most deeply satisfying things in the world. And I was thinking about that I make pasta fagioli a lot, pasta e fagioli, and I was like, all right, what if I combined all of these things together to make a smoked ham hock pasta e fagioli? We're ramping it up, we're going full flavor, so we're gonna flavor this broth with ham hock, garlic, onion, bay leaf, thyme, Parmesan rind, celery, and homemade chicken stock. All those ingredients are gonna simmer away until the ham hock is nice and tender, and then, and only then, will we add our beans. And then what that does is you're taking all that flavor in our broth and we're gonna cook it into the beans themselves. So the beans will be unbelievably delicious. And then we will add our pasta. First things first, let's do a quick, light, gentle saute of our aromatics. Medium-low heat, olive oil, 1 medium onion. Make sure to get your fingers in there so they smell like onions all day. 4 garlic cloves, chopped up. 1 whole head bunch of celery, bay leaf, thyme, pinch of salt. Cook, cook, stir, stir. We just want these to start to sweat down a little bit. Let this go for like 5 minutes. Then we'll add in our ham hock and our stock. Now we're gonna use 4 cups of stock, which is the same as like a 32-ounce box of chicken broth. That'll be our base, and then we might need to keep adding water throughout the day. We'll need to have enough liquid also to still cook beans and then cook pasta and still have broth left over. As water evaporates, it gets more condensed, add water back in, and I think that'll keep us at a nice place. If I were like renting a cabin in like Alsace, in like the Italian Pyrenees or something, and my friends were all going skiing, I'd want to make this and have it all ready to go, and then when they come off the slopes, you open a bottle of wine, you throw the pasta in, you serve it up, and everybody probably has a grand old time. Again, we're not like cooking these through, we're just getting them kind of sweated out. And now we can add Parmesan rind, a smoked ham hock from the good people at Peeds and Barnett, and then we'll add our chicken broth, chicken stock. Broth has salt, stock doesn't. So I'm gonna want this ham hock to be covered with water. So now I'm gonna take some water. This also gets the little bonus stuff on the outside, and just like this. You can obviously do this in the sink, and now I'm spilling water all over the place. And then add this guy in as well. And now we're gonna bring this to a simmer, then we're gonna cover it, drop it down to low, and let's check it in an hour. All right, so now it's actually like an hour and a half. What we're looking for is for this ham hock to look like the meat is kind of coming off pretty easily. See how it's kind of starting to pull away? That's how you know that that flavor is in there. I'm not gonna add any more salt yet, even though it probably needs it, because I wanna wait, we're gonna be cooking this for a while. The next salt add will probably be right before we put in the pasta. So first, let's add our ½ pound of beans. Now, just like you're cooking beans, it'll probably be 2 hours, maybe 3. We'll just kind of go until the beans are cooked. As we say on the show, cook until cooked. All right, so it's been about 2.5 hours or so, and the beans are cooked. And now I will do a little taste of the broth for salt. Definitely needs a little bit of salt, but not that much. Whew, that is tasty. I'm gonna take out this ham hock now. And that way we're gonna pull that meat and put it back on, but also let's find any last little thyme stragglers on a new episode of Thyme Stragglers. Take out our bay leaf. So there's a couple ways you could do this. One, you could just cook the pasta separately and then put it in your bowl and do it that way. For the ultimate flavor, you want to cook the noodles in with this broth. And if you were only going to eat like half of it tonight, you could just take out half of it, put it in the fridge for another day, and then cook the rest of it in there now. So we're going to do, I would say, about 6 ounces of tubetti in here. 6 to 8, like half a box or so. And in the meantime, you kind of wait for this to cool off, or you can be crazy hands like me and start to just pick off little bits of your ham hock meat and just drop it in. And just any usable meat. As you can see, most of this is just fat and cartilage, which is where all that flavor came into your broth, but ham hocks are one of the only things in the world where you cook it into like a broth and it gives you all this flavor, but then the meat still actually tastes good. You can just kind of shred this meat up like this. It's obviously super tender. And then add it right back in here. And if your water level had reduced down a lot, you could just add more water back in. And we're just waiting for the tubetti to be cooked. Meanwhile, because this is like a really slow cooked, long cooked sort of a guy, I think some fresh herbs will make a lot of difference here. Any soft herbs, I think basil will be nice. Parsley could work. Something you can just chop up and add in. Maybe we'll even add a little mixture, a little bit of chives, a little bit of basil, and we'll just kind of give this all a nice little slice job. Even like celery leaves chopped up could be nice on this. Obviously you can turn the heat off when it's slightly under because it's going to keep absorbing. So now, this is like very, very, very al dente, which is great because that way it'll be even better after it sits for a second. This is Central Texas meets Northern Italy. I mean, that's excellent. We've been cooking all day. This is the last dish of a shoot that included a lot of heavy food, and this is really good. You want to come try it, dear? I'll trade you. That macaroni.
A man holding a baby? Do you ever thank your husband for holding your child on occasion? What a good dad. It's so good.
Isn't that delicious?
I was disgustingly full from the bean and cheese burrito that we ate in another episode.
Don't you wish that we were like in Alsace, drinking an Alsatian white wine? This is baby attack.
I'll just hold her out of frame.
I wish I was.
Is she out of frame?
So now, let's rapidly attempt to give this to our neighbors before the pasta gets overcooked.